Um, sidetracked. First of all, welcome for coming along. This is the first of what we're doing. A few of these. We're well-being, and we're looking at basically having specialists like obviously Dr. Nick come on board and tell us what he's doing about all these amazing, fantastic products. I will keep this very short because we've all started late. So Dr. Nicholas will be talking about his clear drops and clear sleep. His background is, if I get this right now, Dr. Nicholas. He's oh god, my mind. So I've been caught up over here. So do you know what, Dr. Nicholas? Let's make it easy. You tell us, please.
I will. Rob, thank you very much for the
That's
invitation.
okay.
I'm very happy to be with you. This is the first of a series of our cooperation moving forward to help people with their wellness and their health. Um, I'm in Cleveland, Ohio, right this moment, and I will be very happy to present to you what we have here. Without any further delay, let me please share a PowerPoint presentation with you. And of course, let's do this after I thank each and every one of you for being in this call today. So let me go to a presenter mode here. I'm Dr. Nikolaos Tsirikos-Karapanos. I'm the President and CEO of Metron Nutraceuticals. Metron is an ancient Greek word meaning the internal balance of a system. We can say that we have health if all our systems have metron. Or if we lose metron, then we go to a disease mode. This is the reason that we called our company Metron Nutraceuticals. I'm a triple board certified pharmacist, medical doctor, and cardiac surgeon. I studied pharmacy and medicine at the University of Athens in Athens, Greece. I got my board certifications. I worked as cardiac surgeon in Athens, and then I moved in Rochester, Minnesota, where I worked at the Mayo Clinic for 5 years before founding my own company, Metron Nutraceuticals, in Cleveland, Ohio. At Metron, we have the only water-soluble zeolite-based formulations in the world. Our two detox formulations are Clear Detox Pro and ClearDrops, and our sleep aid formulation is Clear Sleep. Clear Detox Pro is a formulation not available to the public, but only to licensed healthcare professionals, in contrast with ClearDrops, which is a consumer strength detox formulation. These formulations are qualitatively the same and made under the same very high standards. Quantitatively, Clear Detox Pro has double the concentration of ClearDrops, or if you want, ClearDrops has 50% of the concentration of Clear Detox Pro, but both formulations have water-soluble zeolite. They are truly purified detox formulations. They offer a systemic action, and this is because they can cross cellular membranes, and of course they are patented. Now, as you know, toxins travel all over the world day and night. There are no borders to stop the toxins, and the toxins that we are to talk about are heavy metals, herbicides, pesticides, and particulate matter, specifically the 2.5 particulate matter. Now, all these toxins are getting in our body by the food that we eat, the water that we drink, and the air that we breathe. And as you know, the air that we breathe cannot be better than the air that surrounds us. And as you also know, we don't have HEPA filters in our lungs, and these sometimes can be catastrophic. Now, specifically, the problem with the particulate matter is very well known since the beginning of the century. These are data from NASA very early. regarding the distribution of particulate matter, specifically the particulate matter 2.5. Now, these are small toxins. Here we have the particulate matter 2.5 compared to a human hair and compared to sand from the beach. Now, it was very well described at the Journal of Allergy and Clinical Immunology on March 2018, the mechanism of action of these toxins. These toxins get into our body, again, by the air that we breathe, the food that we eat, and the water that we drink, and they end up having cellular impact. They trigger the release of cytokines, and this ends up with chronic cellular and tissue inflammation. It is very well documented in the literature that chronic exposure to heavy metals and other environmental toxins that can be organic or inorganic molecules can contribute to fibromyalgia, chronic gastrointestinal problems, fatigue, decreased mental concentration, decreased energy, poor sleep. And as you can imagine, we could have another set of 10 slides with problems created by these toxins. Now, let me be very clear of what we don't have here and what we don't do. Here we don't have the marketing approach of let me detox your liver for 2 weeks. And you know, I've been asked many times if our formulations can detox the liver if used for 2 weeks. And I said, well, look, with all the respect, just the question has 3 problems. Number 1, how exactly are you going to isolate the liver from the circulation? It does not work like that, the human body. Number 2, even if we had the magic tool to remove toxins one at a time from our liver or from our colon, well, we wouldn't be able to detox our body because the environmental toxins are not stored in the liver or the colon. The third problem is, okay, let's suppose for the sake of discussion that you can do this, which you cannot. So then let's suppose that you can detox the liver or the colon for 2 weeks. All right, what are you going to do the day 16, the day 20, the day 27, the day 39? Are you going to stop drinking water? Are you going to stop eating food? Are you going to stop breathing air? How are you going to stop toxins getting in your body? As we very well know, we are only protected by from the environment by 3 barriers: our skin, our lung epithelium, and our gut epithelium. Nothing else. Well, the great-grandfather of all of us, Hippocrates, 25 centuries ago said his famous quote about letting the food be the medicine and the medicine be the food, but is this something that we can apply easily today? Back then, when Hippocrates said this, people did not use to soak their food in glyphosate, in herbicides and pesticides. So today, one may say, look, this is my detox program, and you know, I only eat organic. All right. Organic is a very nice word. It's a nice concept. It has a very strong marketing impact. But let me tell you that the last time that we checked the global map, we were not able to see where exactly this organic land is, where I assume people can claim that they have organic water there and they are breathing organic air. This organic land, my friends, does not exist. Now, coming from the world of thoracic and cardiovascular surgery, let's start by lung cancer. Let's take a look at lung cancer. Here is the incidence in the United States, males, that's data from CDC, okay? You see a very strong geographical correlation. Females, same geographical correlation. If we talk about age-adjusted incident rates by state for the United States for lung cancer, we have the same geography. And if we see all cancers, any cancer pathology, all races, both sexes, boom, the same geographic correlation is here. And of course, this reflects mortality. You see the higher mortality in this region. This was published in the Journal of the American Medical Association 2017 and remains unchanged. Now, if we talk about non-cancerous diseases, diabetes mellitus, boom, same geography, same geographical pattern. And of course, this reflects in the discrepancy in the life expectancy between this region and other regions in the United States. One may ask, why exactly is the problem? What is the problem with this region? Well, we know. We are using hundreds of thousands of tons of herbicides and pesticides, atrazine is just one of them, where the food production is made. Now one may say, okay, we're using these chemicals in the region where food is made, but we have the mortality down there in the south. Why exactly? Well, we know this answer, the answer to this question too. It was very well documented many years ago that we have an increased number of contaminants in the Mississippi River. And you know, all these environmental toxins have something very common. They are water-soluble. So what's going on is that these toxins are getting in the underground water system, and this drains exactly where is the death canal of the United States. Very recently, the United States EPA called it the cancer alley. So far, the environmental toxins have two major problems. Number one, small size. Number two, high water solubility. And we are talking about heavy metals, herbicides, pesticides, and particulate matter. At this point, one may ask, can zeolites help? Let's see first what zeolites are. Zeolite is a composite Greek word from the verb zeo, which means I boil, and the word light, which is the stone. In a free translation, the zeolite powder is the boiling stone, and this is because if we warm a zeolite powder, it evaporates water, and this is happening because zeolites are made when volcano lava goes down in the seawater. This is exactly a moment of a zeolite is born. Now, zeolites are crystals. Sodium aluminosilicate, very well known for centuries. The Romans, for instance, used to line the aqueducts with zeolites, and they were doing this in order to purify the water, because they knew that zeolites could attract and retain toxins. So huge constructions like this all over Europe. I was surprised to see that every name in this map is a city that had at least one aqueduct lined with zeolite. Now, the problems that zeolites have are several. Zeolites are not water-soluble. They are crystals. They have a honeycomb-like three-dimensional configuration. They do have metals as part of the crystal. This is not a problem. We'll talk about this. The problem is that they have free metals, free heavy metals, outside of the crystal. Still, zeolites can attract and retain metals and other toxins, and for this reason they are used in several filtration applications and for making dietary supplements, especially after 2012, where the United States FDA designated the appropriate status for zeolites. But zeolites have two major problems. Number one, they are not water-soluble. So the powders of zeolites and the suspensions that are made with these powders have a bioavailability problem. The number two problem, and maybe this is a bigger one, is that they are contaminated with free heavy metals. They are full of elemental impurities. So to summarize so far, heavy metals and other environmental toxins are water-soluble, can cross cellular membranes, are absorbed in the gut, are distributed in several body compartments, mainly the bones, the brain, and the adipose tissue. In contrast, and here is the paradox, the non-water soluble zeolite powders and suspensions that are supposed to capture these toxins are not water soluble, cannot cross cellular membranes, cannot be absorbed in the gut, and for this reason they cannot chase and capture toxins at the tissue level. So we had a very simple idea here. Is there any chance that we can use a non-water soluble zeolite powder and create a water-soluble and purified and safe zeolite? And you understand why we need this. We need this because we want to provide the zeolite exactly where it needs to act, at the tissue level. Well, we did it. We created the only water-soluble zeolite, and I want to show you how we did it. Now, please visualize the zeolite crystal as a skyscraper. No windows, no doors, no walls, just the basic structure. So this is the crystal. Now, zeolites have heavy metals as part of the crystal, but these heavy metals are not toxic because in our body temperature and in the pH range of our body, these metals cannot leach out of the crystal, cannot get out of the crystal in the same way that the bricks cannot get out of a wall, but only after an earthquake. All right, the second set of metals is a big time problem. Zeolites have free heavy metals outside of the crystal, and these metals are toxic because these metals will be absorbed in the gut. So what we do here at Metron Nutraceuticals is two things. We apply our patented technology, we hydrolyze the zeolite crystal, we cut it in such locations to make sure that the metals that were inside the crystal as non-toxic metals, now these metals remain inside the crystalline fragments as non-toxic metals. The second thing that we do, we remove the free heavy metals. So we don't create a demolition in the crystal, because if we do that, then all heavy metals will leach out and then we have a poison. So practically what we did in a building analogy is as if we went to Chicago, we saw this building and we said we want fragments of this building without destroying the building. So this is what we did. It was difficult and we did it, and now we have 16 patents all over the world for this technology. Our first United States patent was issued in 2017. Production of water-soluble, hydrolyzed clinoptilolite fragments and nutraceutical products based on water-soluble, hydrolyzed clinoptilolite fragments. Second United States patent 2019, third United States patent 2020. Our technology is patented in all European countries, Canada, Hong Kong, Japan, Russia, Korea, and so on. Patents everywhere. So before our involvement with this technology, the zeolites in the market were either powders or water suspensions made by these powders, where best case scenario they don't work, worst case scenario, very realistic scenario, these are toxic products because of the existence of elemental impurities. And now we have the only water solutions. You understand where I'm coming from, a very strictly regulated environment of pharmacy, medicine, and cardiac surgery. So for us, it was top priority to make sure that we don't violate the first, please don't harm people. For this reason, extensive testing has been done. I'm not going to spend a lot of time to tyrannize you with all these acronyms, but inductive coupled plasma, mass spectrometry for heavy metals, liquid chromatography mass spectrometry, X-ray diffraction, and so on. I don't want to spend a lot of time with this, but please keep in mind that our water-soluble zeolite fragments have at least one sodium associated with them. We will need that, so one sodium there. Needless to say that microbiologically our production is sterile. Our water-soluble zeolite fragments have the ideal single dimension size. And let's talk a little about elemental impurities. Now, in the United States, in Europe, and in other territories, if you have a dietary supplement, a nutraceutical, you must test it according to the United States Pharmacopoeia Monography 2232 for 4 metals. Unfortunately, only 4 metals: arsenic, cadmium, mercury, and lead. Nothing else. In contrast, if you have a pharmaceutical formulation, you must test it according to the USP 232 and 233 for 24 metals. Now, within the 24 metals are the 4 ones that we said before. Well, we don't operate under these requirements, but we operate under stricter requirements because we test the final formulation of our dietary supplements not for 4 elements, not even for 24 elements, but for 29 elements. To the best of our knowledge, we are the only company in the world that are testing for 29 elemental impurities our dietary supplements. And maybe more importantly, as elemental impurities is the biggest problem of zeolite powders and suspensions, we test every batch of the concentrated form that we produce in-house in our own facility in Cleveland, Ohio, for 69 elements, every single batch. Well, this is far above the FDA standards even for pharmaceutical products, and this is what I'm talking about. 69 elements. No other product, no other company anywhere in the world is tested like that. Well, there are many products out there in the market, micronized zeolite products, still non-water soluble, still potentially harmful, in laboratories that have various, kind of quality. In our stellar facility, we produce the only water-soluble, purified, and safe zeolite in the world. By now you understand that we have dietary supplements, but we test them in standards that exceed pharmaceutical standards, which is very uncommon in the dietary supplements market. For this reason, during the 10 years of our operation, we had 5 major inspections, 2 from the FDA and 3 from the Ohio Department of Agriculture, with stellar outcomes. This is not hidden. Anyone can go to the FDA site. This is a screenshot from the FDA site. You can put the name of Metron Nutraceuticals and you can see our stellar reputation. Now, we make a major claim that our water-soluble zeolite fragments can cross cellular membranes, which is very important, and if you don't do that, how you can claim systemic action. So let's see how we can support the claim. Now, to cross a cellular membrane, this can be done by diffusion, or can be done by facilitated transport, or by endocytosis or exocytosis. Now, there is no in vitro testing for these two, but there is in vitro testing available for the diffusion. It is called PAMPA, parallel artificial membrane permeability assay. This was developed by a company in Massachusetts, United States. 20 out of 20 large pharmaceutical companies all over the world rely on this technology to screen their molecules to see if they can cross cellular membranes. This is an FDA-approved methodology, and to the best of our knowledge, we are the only dietary supplements company in the world that we have tested our formulations under these standards. How this works? Okay, on the left you have a donor compartment separated by a biomimetic membrane by the receiver compartment. Now, the pH in the donor compartment is the pH of our duodenum, and the pH in the receiver compartment is the pH of our blood. Within each one of these two compartments, we have fiber optic probes, and we can measure real time the concentration over time. So as you can imagine, we put our compounds in the left, the donor compartment, and we start with a high concentration at time 0. At the same time in the receiver, we have 0 concentration. And over time, if our molecules cross the biomimetic membrane, we expect the concentration in the donor to go down and to increase in the receiver. We were very happy to see that the absorption profile of our water-soluble zeolite fragments, as you can see, this is a pharmacology textbook-like image. And now, if you have this kind of quality data, then you start talking about pharmacokinetic parameters. When's the time minimum? Where is your plateau? What exactly is this plateau? And many other parameters. Well, this kind of studies, along with our patents, sets us apart from anything else in the global market. Now, in our formulations of water-soluble zeolite, we incorporate vitamin C, and I intentionally used the word incorporate because we just don't add it. This is done in a certain combination of temperature and pressure in order to do the following. Now, you remember we have at least one sodium associated with each fragment of zeolite. So we incorporate vitamin C in such a way that we create an ionic bond between the ascorbic anion and the sodium. This way we create a complex, intentionally, a complex of water-soluble zeolite, sodium, vitamin C anion to send it in the vitamin C receptor. This is a mechanism that we have described in all of our patents. And this is very important because you need to be able to be absorbed, to circulate, and reach out to the tissues. We know that we have vitamin C receptors in all endothelial cells of the human body. In fact, we have an increased number of vitamin C receptors in the vascular layer of the blood-brain barrier. So this is a very important mechanism to direct our water-soluble zeolite fragments exactly where we need. By doing this, we can help the human body to detoxify from heavy metals and other toxins in a very gentle way by reversing the toxin accumulation process that took years. Now, to do this, certainly you don't need any powder or a suspension because they can be harmful. You need a water solution, safe, effective, and of course from a stellar company. When do we start? Well, we better start now. Our detox formulations were conceived, designed, patented, formulated, tested for chronic use. You just start them. You don't stop. Couple of words about Clear Sleep. Clear Sleep is a water-soluble zeolite with vitamin C, but in that case, the zeolite is saturated with L-tryptophan and L-theanine. As we know, L-tryptophan in our central nervous system becomes serotonin, 5-hydroxytryptamine, and serotonin, when builds up, starts to become melatonin, and then we want to go to sleep. Now, serotonin and melatonin in many territories all over the world are regulated as pharmaceutical ingredients. L-tryptophan is always an amino acid, so we are using our delivery system with the zeolite, sodium, vitamin C that we direct to the vitamin C director, receptor, and in clear sleep, our water-soluble zeolite is saturated with L-tryptophan and L-theanine. The zeolite in clear sleep has lost its detoxifying capabilities, and it is functioning as a carrier of L-tryptophan and L-theanine. L-theanine is a very important natural ingredient found in green tea leaves. We are using specifically the alpha wave L-theanine, and this because it has been documented that it helps create alpha waves in the brain. As we know, we can have in our brain gamma, beta, alpha, theta, and delta waves. Alpha ones are the ones that we need in order to calm. Alpha wave L-theanine has a GRAS status, is purified, and maybe more importantly, helps relax without the next day drowsiness. A clinical study that was conducted showed, and it was randomized, placebo-controlled with alpha wave, showed the effects of alpha wave. Relaxed wakefulness, decreased anxiety and tension, reduced fatigue, reduced heart rate. And as you know, we cannot control our heart rate. So clear sleep is a safe, effective, and patented dietary supplement that helps relax without drowsiness, promotes mental clarity and focus, and reduces nervous tension. Now, using our patented technology here, we have pipelined a certain number of innovative high-end formulations. One of the ones that is going to be out in the market within 2025 is ClearVask, and this is for the cardiovascular system. ClearVask is a water solution of water-soluble zeolite with vitamin C, but in ClearVask, the water solution is saturated with resveratrol and curcumin. And again, this is directed to the vitamin C receptors. So, friends, we have the only water-soluble zeolite detox dietary supplements that are truly purified. They offer a systemic action because they can cross cellular membranes, and we can support this claim. They are patented and will be available to you. Just a small teaser of what's coming next. Within the next 3 months, it's going to be in the market. It's going to be our promising novel formulation against RNA viral infections, all RNA viral infections, and I stop here. We're going to have a special webinar for this. All the above, our friends, are not coming from a marketing department of a big company, but are coming from a true research and development science-based company. And we'll be very happy to provide these formulations to you so you can help your patients or your clients. And at this point, I want to thank you for your time today, and I would be very glad to answer any questions that you may have. Rob?
Can I say, first of all, thanks, Dr. Nikolaos. That was brilliant. Okay. Again, I'm always amazed as I listen to you go over all the bits and pieces you do. And the new stuff is looking very interesting as well, most of it. I'm looking to be much more healthier in the future.
That's the goal.
Was there any questions from anybody in particular? Pat, yeah, just somebody, unmute yourself, Pat.
Hi, can you hear me? Yeah.
Yep.
Yes,
Great.
Pat.
Yeah. Thanks very much, Dr. Nikolaos. Very, very informative talk. Sarah gave me the heads up that you were doing this presentation. So I work as a general practitioner in my own practice, and I have another doctor. I work in Limerick in Ireland, and I'm intrigued with this idea of toxicity to pesticides and heavy metals and that. And haven't really incorporated zeolite into my practice because there hasn't been a product that's been shown to be effective as you demonstrate that yours has been. But one of the things about zeolites is that they leach or can leach essential minerals out of the system as well. And you said that you would use your product on a continuous basis. That can you reassure me that while we're in the process of detoxifying, that we're not leaching out essential minerals and nutrients from patients?
I will be glad to. Thank you so much for your warm words. Again, the zeolite technology is a very complex technology and has been used and abused for many years by people who have no idea about chemistry, and they just formulate products that are trendy. With this concern in mind, we went all these extra miles with extensive testing that exceeds pharmaceutical standards to be able to address issues like the one which is very important that you bring. So we are testing for 69 elements in order to see what is the profile of elements in our formulation. We could, if we wanted, Pat, claim calcium supplementation and magnesium supplementation with our water-soluble zeolite. We don't have any reason to do that. And for the 29 elements of the final formulation, we intentionally test for calcium, magnesium, potassium, sodium, titanium. Our formulations, so we know that we don't take the essential metals out, we provide them. Now, this is regarding the bench, basic science and technology, and this is out of what analytical chemistry can give to us. For clinical application or human application, what is very important is that our professional strength formulation is continuously in the market from May 18th, 2015 until today. So in 2 months, we go for 10 years. Within this period of time, we never had any yellow card filled and sent to the FDA, which is a good confirmation that we never had any hypocalcemia or hypokalemia problem with individuals that are taking our professional strength for 5, 6, 7 years continuously. And this is for us a confirmation of safety, and we are very confident to support everyday's use.
I'm reassured by that. That's fantastic. Just in relation to glyphosate, you mentioned glyphosate. Is it proposed that you might test patients before and after exposure to your product and prove the detoxification, or in relation to other elements like cadmium, for instance, or other potential environmental toxins?
Thank you, Pat. There are 3 studies that are ready to be published right now. One is a human study with individuals that have documented high level of inflammation, documented by blood work, urine work, stool analysis, and these individuals took our professional strength in 2 steps. First, 60 days, and then up to 180 days. And we saw reduction in HSCRP, high sensitivity C-reactive protein, starting from very high 3 digits. Again, this is a study that was a PhD study of a healthcare professional here in the United States. HSCRP levels of 375, 350. Within 60 days, this went down to 75, 60, 80. And then, after 6 months, this normalized. That's remarkable. Also, we saw an improvement in zonulin. This speaks to leaky gut, etc. That's one. Number two, a study that was conducted at a very prominent university here in the United States, have no problem to mention, it's NYU, in the Department of Environmental Toxicology, was conducted with human intestinal epithelial cells. This was a cell cultures study. These cells were bombarded with cadmium, and several parameters were measured before and after. And in cell cultures, our water-soluble zeolite was added to see the protective effect. The result is statistically significant, the difference in favor of our zeolite, and this speaks by itself. There's one more study that's coming out, and there are 3 studies that are conducted right now in the United States. So stay tuned. There's more things coming here regarding our zeolite. Regarding glyphosate specifically, you know, there are several methodologies and technologies to measure. The common problem of all these methods to measure is where exactly are you measuring and what? Let me be more specific. What we need to know for heavy metals, and I will go to glyphosate. For heavy metals, we need to know the tissue concentration. That's what matters. Well, you understand and you know that there is a feasibility problem here. We cannot have tissue biopsies from our liver, brain, etc., etc. So we want to find surrogates. The easiest one is the urine compartment. Well, that's easy, but whatever is in the urine is out of the body, practically. There's no way back to circulation. Now, this does not say a lot of things, this value of this metal, this urine concentration. For this reason, in studies that we conduct here, we added a second compartment, which is serum, blood. And if you have 2 compartments, then you can have a ratio, urine to blood or blood to urine, and this is a stronger index as a surrogate, as before and after. In the studies that we conduct, in some studies that we conduct, we have added a 3rd compartment, which is hair analysis. And a new study is going to start here with a 4th compartment, nail analysis. Now, if you have all these ratios, then you have some certainty, okay, of what's going on at the tissue level. So this is what we are doing right now. Specifically for glyphosate, a basic research bench study will be conducted on late February, early March. We have several research agreements with academic institutions in the United States and in Europe. In one of these institutions, glyphosate will be studied as a bench study to see what percentage or at what level we can capture glyphosate with our water-soluble zeolite. We have some data, not published yet, of human exposure, like before and after, specifically for glyphosate, but, you know, to make the claim, you understand by now, Pat, where I'm coming from. So I really want to see a p-value there, okay, for statistical significance. So we believe that we can help with a plethora of molecules, organic and inorganic molecules. I hope this helps for now.
Yeah, great.
All right. Renata, what do you think?
Hello. I was invited by Sarah as well to join and to learn more about your product. I think it's incredible
Thank you.
Of course, it's about experimenting and trying to experience the results.
Sure.
I just had a question just based on all the things you said. You mentioned briefly about some people who use the products and the period of time. So how long do you suggest for people to use so they can start seeing results with the removal of toxins?
Very good. Thank you for your warm words. Let me tell you that we don't have a product here. We have a delivery system, and this is
Okay.
more important than having one product. There are many formulations coming out. Now, how long to use them? To start with, you use them for as long as you breathe air, you eat food, and you drink water. Unless you have a way to remove toxins from the air, the food, and the water. Now, when to see results? This varies by person. I was in the one extreme of this. I was not feeling anything for the first week, second week, to the point back on May 2015. But to the point that I was disappointed that this does nothing. After a month that I felt nothing, I concluded that, okay, we created a fantastic placebo. I'm okay with this if it's not, if I don't have any side effects, because again, you understand where I'm coming from. I'm coming from the world of cardiac surgery. So for me, safety is the number one. At the time, we had many calls that were blowing my phone, healthcare professionals here in the United States being ecstatic. How good the product is, what a fantastic product, how people feel more energy, more focus. And I was like, what are they talking about? Probably they're making money out of this and they like the product, but the product is useless, does nothing. It started working with me. Again, I'm very healthy. I was always healthy, eating healthy, minute consumption of alcohol occasionally, not a smoker, very active before I was involved with surgery, of course. Windsurfing, water ski, tennis, table tennis, walking. So I was very healthy, still am very healthy. For me, it took 3 months. After the third month, I said, wait a second, it's 9 p.m. I'm still working. I was always working long hours, especially during my residency and afterwards as cardiac surgeon. And I said, it's 9 p.m. It seems to me that it is, that's 1 p.m. or noon. So for me, the difference was more energy for me. And I am in the one side of the spectrum. Let's go to the extreme opposite side of the spectrum. A gentleman working here, mid-40s, otherwise healthy, working in a steel yard. In Cleveland, Ohio, in the local economy, there are many steel yards making steel. So he started taking Clear Detox Pro. After 3 days, he was like, oh my God, what's in this product? Something is going on with me. So he couldn't describe that something miraculous is happening with him. We knew what happened with him. We know what happened with him. He had the Hertzheimer reaction, a so-called detox reaction after removing heavy metals and toxins, okay, which is flu-like symptoms. But this person was exposed from his early 20s up to today in an environment that was saturated practically with heavy metals. So it depends on the degree of exposure of heavy metals and other toxins for the individual. You may see a benefit starting 3 days, a week, up to the best of my knowledge, I was the last, for me it was 3 months. I hope this helps.
Thank you.
I'm going to jump in. Thank you very
Hi,
much,
Sarah.
As you can all hear, I'm having a bit of a detox. I don't know if it's from the ClearDrops or just what's going on, but I started taking this in third week of December, the Clear Detox Pro, and I've suffered with psoriasis since I was 13, so 40 years. And I've tried everything: shampoos, lotions, potions, scalp, pharmaceutical, non-pharmaceutical, detox diets, elimination diets, you name it. I've tried absolutely everything. And I had just got to the point where I thought, this is never going to be any better. And 4 or 5 days after start, and bear in mind, this was Christmas, so I was eating mince pies and I was drinking mulled wine, which is not very good for my skin. And 4 or 5 days later, I couldn't believe it. I'd say at that point, it was about 50% better. I'm on about halfway through my second bottle. I'd say I'm about 70% better, clear on my head. And I have a lot more energy, and the pain in my joints really has eased off tremendously. And I've just got a lot more flexibility as well. I'm not struggling to bend down and pick things up. So and the only thing I've been taking is this.
We're happy to, I was very happy to hear from you what you said. And this is something that we hear very frequently here, especially the joint pain. Our board member here, he has a chronic hip pain for years. Healthy otherwise. He took Clear Detox Pro back on May 2015. 2 weeks later, he was swearing to the product. I said, no, it does nothing. We know that our water-soluble zeolite has some very strong anti-inflammatory properties. Now, I want you all to understand, we are here in Cleveland, Ohio, United States. That means we have to abide to the rules and regulations of the United States. And the word anti-inflammatory is something that we cannot use as a dietary supplement until up to now. Now, with major changes in the FETCS and the FDA, I don't know how things will change, but as you can imagine, we had to be very careful to protect our business. So we cannot claim anti-inflammatory action, even though we know that we have an anti-inflammatory action at the tissue and cellular level. So we know that the formulations work. Sarah, your experience was just one more confirmation, and we're very happy that this worked.
So I have a question from Gabby. Sorry, Dr. Pat, I'll just come back to you in a minute. So Gabby couldn't be with us, but she's going to listen to the recording. So she's a nurse and a phlebotomist, and she had 2 questions. One is, so obviously it crosses the cell membrane, but how is it then excreted?
Oh, very nice. The driving force of getting in and out of cells when it's not transmembrane transportation via proteins is the concentration gradient. So let's say that this pen is a toxin, and here is the zeolite. So the zeolite gets in the cell, captures the toxin. Now, the complex of zeolite and the toxin the complex that is made has a certain concentration intracellularly compared to extracellularly. So you immediately have a concentration gradient. And this is the driving force of elimination. Elimination is via 2 routes: urinary excretion and GI excretion. But it is the concentration gradient that is the driving force. Very good question.
Yeah, she was also asking then if somebody, for example, has very sort of chronic constipation or something like that, is that a problem then? Would that have to be dealt with first? Or is this, I think her question was, can anyone be started on this at any time? Or do you have to do something first?
You can start anytime. Of course, as with every dietary supplement, please consult with your doctor. We know that we have for sure one contraindication, which is pregnancy and lactation, because we have not conducted safety studies during pregnancy and lactation. We're not going to conduct these studies. Detoxing before pregnancy is ideal because all these toxins cross the placenta. So ideally, a woman starts detoxing and has in front of her, says like, okay, I would like to have a baby in 2 years from now or 3 years from now, graduating from college or something like this. so start detox early. So this is a contraindication. As far as other conditions, we are aware of many individuals that have several conditions, and they had no problem to use our formulations. In fact, they had some benefit in several conditions, but I don't want to make any disease claim here. Specifically for constipation, let me tell you this. All right, we have a water solution of water-soluble zeolite. Whenever you detox, you're losing water. So it is very important, and it is recommended to add 1 or 2 glasses of water every single day when you start our formulations. It's highly debatable what is the appropriate volume of water intake. There are a lot of discussions, a lot of literature. What is the in the popular language is 8 glasses of water. Well, there are people that 8 glasses of water is too much, and there are people that 8 glasses of water is too low. So we don't know what is the specific need for the individual as of today. But if today you start ClearDrops or you start Clear Detox Pro, make sure that you increase your hydration by at least 1 or 2 glasses of water. I'm sure that Dr. Pat and Renata, I'm sure you agree with me that you have not seen too many hyperhydrated patients. The common is like, oh my God, another dehydrated patient, right? So
Yeah.
it's very important to, and that's why we have the Clear Detox Pro available only in the hands of healthcare professionals, because it has high concentration, and we want someone to babysit on these users and remind them to hydrate. We don't want some users to end up dehydrated in the ER at 11 p.m. at night. So it's very important, and thank you, Sarah, for mentioning this. Now, this can help with constipation, because increase of hydration in order to take this one, plus pulling toxins out, this can even help with constipation. But again, I don't want to make any disease claim. All right.
Pat, you had another question.
Yeah, it's just going against just what you just said. I'm wondering about crystal arthropathies like gout and pseudo gout. Do you think that zeolite would have any effect in that realm?
It does. It does, and we are systemically, studying this right now. Our intention is to have a study with this. And let me tell you, Pat, that we'll be very happy to also start cooperating with healthcare professionals that are outside of the United States. The way that we have set it up here for our clinical studies, classic phase 2 studies, is to make it feasible. I was 5 years at Mayo Clinic, very proud that I had the privilege to work at Mayo. I got 2 prestigious international awards for my work in cardiovascular surgery at Mayo. But all these huge academic institutes, and it would be easy for me to make a phone call and go to my alma mater in the United States, which is Mayo, and say, okay, I would like for you guys to conduct a couple of studies for us. The problem is with the indirects in the United States. Mayo Clinic had 69% indirects. At the time I left Mayo, at 2012, Harvard had 75%. Let me explain what is this. So you are a researcher there, you get a grant, let's say from the American Heart Association, of $1 million. Okay? If you are at Harvard, out of this $1 million, $750,000 stay with the institution, and here is your $250,000. Go Tiger, go. Conduct your study. So this makes, for small companies like ours, the conduction of high-quality clinical studies practically impossible. Well, there is a way to do it. And the way we do it is that we cooperate with healthcare professionals that have a solo practice or group practice. They introduce subjects to clinical studies. Again, this is done correctly and carefully with written consent. And then all of the individuals that contributed subjects in these studies become co-authors in the manuscripts to be submitted for publication. Metron is heavily supporting these studies by providing for free to all subjects the formulation and the placebo. We support with logistics, we support with our biostatistician for this. And if you're interested, we'll be very happy to cooperate with you so you can become one of the individual healthcare professionals that can contribute studies and become a co-author of manuscripts that will be published.
Yeah, I'd be interested to pursue, to investigate that further for sure. Thank you.
Fantastic. So then let's arrange to have a discussion, and if Rob and Sarah can facilitate, so we can be in touch directly with Pat. All right.
So Megan Smith was just asking about Alzheimer's.
Very good. You know, the common denominator of many dementia problems, mainly Alzheimer's type, is the environment. Now, this is a multifactorial, but we have information and non-published data that it's very helpful. We, again, very interested to investigate this. We are in touch with a big name here in neurology in the United States who is very interested to conduct a study specifically for dementia Alzheimer's type. But we have seen help. We have seen individuals that have been helped.
And Gabby had one more question, which was about parasites. So she was asking the fact that parasites often feed off the heavy metals in the body. Do you have to clear the parasites first, or what happens?
No, you start immediately, simultaneously. Look, in the study that will be published, again, this is a PhD study of a healthcare professional here. There is a concentration of parasites in the stool work. Boom, concentration goes down. It helped with that too. And, you know, we'll be able to make the claim after this publication. It's always very tricky to make a claim for a disease. Hopefully things will change a little with the FDA, because the FDA is very strict. And again, we have an excellent name and reputation with the FDA when they inspected us. And I also shared with the FDA inspectors my point of view, which is the opposite of the don't make any health claim, and said, look, we abide with the rules and regulations, we conform, you know, we're not going to violate anything. But as a pharmacist and medical doctor myself, I have formed my opinion, and my opinion is as follows. If a dietary supplement cannot make a health claim, this dietary supplement must be out of the market. That's my position. Why exactly are you taking it?
And Renata's got a question there, which is there a minimum or maximum age?
Well, again, it's a regulatory matter. We have to abide to this, so it is in the label that it is for adults. Now, we cannot claim younger age, but there are 3 medical doctors in the United States that we are cooperating, and we intend to conduct a safety study. The first, actually 2 safety studies. The first is going to be with children between 12 and 18 years old. And after that, go from 7 to 12. Specifically, Sarah, to be able to expand, you know, the indication in ages. But as you can imagine, we do this very carefully and slowly, one step at a time. We are living in a very strict and regulatory environment. And, you know, it's very easy to kill a company by making a claim that is seen by the regulatory agencies as non-appropriate, and then you have a yellow ribbon around your company, and that's it. So we have made a very serious investment here in research and development, and we don't want to see to have any bitter surprise. For this reason, we go slowly.
Okay, are there any more questions from the audience? I know we can't see everybody. You can either post.
You received a lot of information today, Renata, Megan, and Pat. You will need some time to digest all this. It's something. It's condensed, but I'm here to help. We'll be very happy to have a second discussion and certainly discuss further with you, Pat, regarding your possible cooperation in clinical studies. And on my end, I want to thank each and every one of you for your time today, and especially Rob and Sarah and Lisa for organizing this today. We are here to help. We are here to stay. I have moved myself from my beloved cardiac surgery. I had my instant gratification every time that I was performing a bypass surgery, which was my thing. Now my instant gratification is coming from people like Sarah, who said, look, I've tried everything for this or that problem, and I used this formulation and it helped. For this reason, at Metron Nutraceuticals and myself, we are here to help you travel the journey. Thank you so much.
Sorry, I was having a coughing fit, so I had to turn my camera and my mic off. Dr. Nikolaos, thank you so much. And yes, thank you to everyone who joined us today. And again, apologies for starting late.
We'll be in touch again. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you, Sarah.
Bye.
Bye.